Morning YouTube. This video is for a friend who asked me what type of bird it's best to get as a pet, and they were speaking primarily of different types of parrots. Now my experience with parrots is very limited. The closest thing I had to a parrot was a lovebird, which has plenty of strange myths around it, but lovebirds make really good pets if you have the time for them. And that's the same for all parrots. I'm not a fan of parrots as pets. I don't think that it's very fair to them. They're generally large, wild, unruly, and very loud. So there's a lot of reasons I could give you against having a parrot. Obviously there's a lot of pros. If you have the time and you want to spend all 3-5 hours a day nurturing this animal and being its best friend, then you're fine. But if, like the rest of the world, you don't really have that kind of time or energy to spend on a bird like that, then here's some other reasons why you shouldn't get one as a pet. The first reason is they're really expensive. There's no reason why anyone should spend that much on a bird that's very difficult to take care of. Another reason would be when something does go wrong with your pet, you have to take them to an avian specialist, which is a veterinarian that knows all about birds. And they're actually pretty hard to come by and extraordinarily expensive, generally speaking. If you don't do everything according to the book, like all the fruits and vegetables, the minimum 3 hours out of their cage, one-on-one contact a day, and the daylight exposures and all of the vitamins and the things you have to give them. If you can't meet those minimum requirements, you're going to end up with a bird that's self-mutilating, pulling out its feathers, pulling out its mate's feathers. Like, there's a lot of... Sorry, there's just a lot of stuff that can very easily go wrong with a very expensive bird, and it costs a lot to fix, if it can be fixed. So they belong in the wild. They're really not good pet material. They haven't been domesticated for thousands of years. They're a recent, addition to the list of pets that man has tried to domesticate, and it's really not working very well. And most parrots end up, pretty sad. It's very common to have self-mutilating parrots and so forth. So, not only that, if because of their high intelligence level, they do start to kind of go off the rails a little bit, they can seriously injure you. They use those big beaks, especially a large one like a macaw, uses those big beaks to just easily slice a Brazil nut in its shell in half. So they can take off a finger if they want to. They can do serious, serious harm. So it's a lot of reasons not to get a parrot. So what kind of bird would I suggest as a good pet? I would choose a breed that has been domesticated for a lot longer a period of time. There's a great variety to choose from. Pigeons are very used to dealing with human beings. Chickens are very used to dealing with human beings. And they all integrate into our systems quite easily. I've got a chicken here, speaking of. This is, my camera's inverted. This is Potsu. He's a young rooster and he's wearing his little diaper. But, they're just as rewarding. They are just as rewarding an animal, and they are just as sweet, and they require a lot less space, a lot less specialized care, and generally because a lot of people take care of, farm animals such as poultry and ducks more widely. There's a farm animal specialist that can take care of them if they get ill, and it's not as difficult to find that kind of care. So I would definitely recommend trying a more normal domestic breed. It is much more rewarding, a lot less hassle, and a lot easier to fix when things go wrong. So consider a chicken, honestly. They're really great house pets. As you saw Potsy there, he just runs around, he's got his wee nappy on. I put it on him, a diaper, put it on a couple of times a day and let him out, and he can just run in and out as he feels he wants to. And he loves to go outside with us, and he's very well bonded. And I should probably spend more time with Potsy and Cheetah than I do, But it doesn't seem to bother them. They have each other, and they have a very fulfilling life. And it's easier to give that to a hen or a rooster than it is to give that to a parrot. So if you want a pet that's a bird, go for a traditionally domesticated breed. Don't care if it's a pigeon, which you can also put diapers on if you really are that enterprising. Budgies, cockatiels, but once you get into the bigger guys, you're asking for problems. But I mean, it's the same with crows. Crows are very difficult care in some respects, but I managed to integrate a crow into my life quite well. But I have had the drive and the time to do that. So it's completely up to you. But just consider your lifestyle and consider what you can give. And consider how difficult it's going to be to take care of things if something goes wrong. For example, if my crow was injured, there wasn't a vet around here that would have touched it. So, I mean, just bear that in mind. And good luck picking your pet.